Hello and welcome to Module 2 of the Concilium Aquis Sulis course on railway signalling. This module answers the question, why do we need railway signalling? It then presents 4 key motivations for railway signalling: ensuring the safe separation of trains at speed, moving, locking and controlling speed over points, preventing conflicting movements, ensuring the safe operation of level crossing. In road transport, the good and reliable grip of rubber tires on tarmac enables vehicles to brake from high speed in a short distance. Road vehicles can therefore be driven on-site at high speeds, with drivers able to stop within the distance that they can see to be clear. The grip of steel wheels on steel rails is less and more variable than that of rubber wheels on tarmac. A coefficient of friction of only around 1/8 can be depended on for safe braking. Furthermore, brakes generally take longer to apply on trains than they do on road vehicles. Applying the same driving on-site principle used for road vehicles to trains would require them to travel at very low speeds. Railway signalling overcomes this limitation by proving track is clear of obstruction for hundreds or even thousands of meters ahead of a train and indicating this to the driver. As a result, trains can not only travel as fast as road vehicles but much faster. Whilst the driving on-site principle restricts road vehicles to a safe maximum speed of around 120 km per hour, mainline trains frequently operate at 150 km per hour or more. On new-build high-speed lines, trains can even operate around 300 km per hour, all thanks to railway signalling. A further difference between roads and railways is how junctions operate. On roads, drivers can simply turn a steering wheel to cause their vehicles to take different paths over junctions. On railways, trains always follow the rails laid down for them. To take different paths over junctions, the rails themselves must be moved using points, also known as switches. Signalling is responsible for moving points via various types of actuator. It is also responsible for locking points so that they cannot move under trains traveling over them in the facing direction. A further challenge is that different paths over points have different speed limits. Typically, there is a straight path that can be traversed at the prevailing permitted speed, and a diverging path that must traversed at reduced speed. Reduced speed is needed on the curved diverging path to keep centripetal acceleration within acceptable limits for passenger comfort and safety, as passengers may be walking around the train or have hot drinks, to ensure the train does not topple over when traveling around the curve and prevent damage to the points from excessive force associated with the centripetal acceleration. Signalling provides train drivers with the information they need to control speed appropriately over the junction according to the route set. In some case, the signalling system also supervises this speed. Railway signalling, like road traffic light signals, also prevents conflicting movements over junctions and bidirectional sections of track. Railway signalling similarly ensures that level crossings are closed to road traffic when trains are authorized to travel over them, and closed to rail traffic when open to road traffic. In summary, railway signalling proves track clear for hundreds of meters ahead of a train, and indicating this to train drivers, enabling trains to travel safely at high speed. Signaling is responsible for moving points, locking them position, and providing information to drivers to control speed appropriately. Signaling also prevents conflicting movements over junctions and bidirectional sections of track and ensures level crossings are closed to road traffic when trains are authorized to travel over them.